Alright everybody, welcome to Final Fantasy Online. I am trying to show some people how to adjust their HUDs. So if you go to Options, over to System, come down to HUD Layout. As you can see, I have this HUD already set up. So for those that don't have it set up, you'll be on 1, and your HUD will look something like this. You can use your touchpad to move around, or you can do everything through your current UI element. You can do everything through here as well. Some things to do is you can move, you can grab your gill, you can either grab it with a mouse, which is your touchpad, or you can just click on it and then use your joystick, your right joystick, and you can move everything around. And if you hit right on the arrow pad, you go to UI settings, you can change your size to make it smaller. You'll have to save it, and then you can resume moving it to wherever you like. Same thing with some things will be overlaying, which you can move out of the way to get to other options. It's a simple double tap, and then, or you can use your controller, either way you like, drag and assign it wherever you like. Again, anytime you want to change the size, you just simply go up to the cogwheel and you can drop it down to as small as you want, save, and then you can readjust. I don't like everything so big and in the way, so I like to make my things a little smaller so that I can see things a little better. And the biggest thing to do is your duty list, which is your quest log, because it is ginormous when you start the game. The smaller, the better. Another thing that I like to do is I like to clean up my edges. I like to maximize the room I have available. That way I can see more of the game and not so much of my HUD. You can also look up a mouse to your PlayStation, and you can do this with a mouse if you don't like using the touchpad as your mouse. Another very easy way to do so. And you'll spend a decent amount of time messing around, and as you progress through the game, you'll find certain things that'll pop up that'll be overlaying, and all you have to do is just go back into your HUD and find out where that was at. Like once you hit 50, the heal gauge is different for different classes, and it'll be somewhat big and in your way, and you just come in here and you can adjust it and move it around. The crossbar is going to be all of your abilities, for those that look for that. And there's another one that I make a lot smaller. And you have to remember that above the using the controller above the crossbar, when you hit L2 or R2, it'll give you a description of your abilities. So if you don't want to overlay them when you hit L2 and R2, keep the top of your crossbar clear. All of the hotbars, 1, 2, 3, all of that stuff is all for if you're using a mouse and a keyboard, so you don't have to worry about any of those. Your left joystick will move this around, so you can move things around. Your party list, as you can see, is overlaying your scenario quest, which is another thing that you don't need quite so big in the game. Again, you have to save before you can move it around again. Your limit gauge is something that is active in dungeons and raids. And the party list is also something that I definitely like to drop down in size. It's also good to save randomly while you're doing this, so if you happen to do cancel it out, you don't have to start all over. I did that a few times when I was first messing with it. Like for instance here, you can't get to the enemy list because it's behind the party list. Again, go into your current UI element, and you can scroll down and find the enemy list. Click X, and now you can move your enemy list. This will show you all of your enemies targeting, so if you have 1 or like 6 targeting you, there'll be a list. So careful where you place that. I usually have mine somewhat over here, just out of my way. And if you want to check any time of how it looks, all you have to do is just back out of it, and then you can see everything here. This way, making everything smaller, your map, your quest log over here is not halfway out into your screen like it is when you first start. Plus, it clears up your edges, and when you target yourself, this is your target, your focus bar, which should be adjusted depending on where you like it. Which will be under, actually, it's under your target bar, not your focus. As you can see, it moves around. And your status, so if you were to get a buff, as you can see, is now ticking. Which I now cannot get to. It all depends on your playstyle and where you like your bars at. So, like I said, you can do a lot of adjusting and a lot of playing around with to see where everything is at. And as you find more things that pop up, you can switch over and change things around. Whoops. And just to help out some of the newer players to the game, as you can see on my bars down here, this is what I run around when I solo. These are all of your options here. You have all these bars. So when I solo, I keep my mount, a teleport, return, and then just my simple basic attacks. So that when I'm running around solo questing, I don't have to do a lot of bar changing. Like when I go into a dungeons, different classes, different jobs and classes will have different things to do. But when I go into a dungeon, I can simply drop down to my healing bars, which changes things up a little bit. And you can set things up for different things that you're doing. PvP, healing, DPS. I just started a samurai, which I will show you. These two bars are pretty much all attacks except for the L2 triangle, square, circle, X. And then I have to drop down to 2 for more abilities. So this class has more abilities than my healer does currently. So I will have to be swapping for combos on these two, which you can see how quick they are to swap. It's very quick. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to message me. My PSN is Baltimore. Thank you for stopping by.